The clash between Dabura and Cell is one of the most interesting what-if matchups, one that brings together two of the most dangerous villains from completely different eras. Dabura, the Demon King and ruler of the Demon Realm, was introduced during the Majin Buu saga as a fearsome warrior whose power rivaled that of Super Saiyan tier. Cell, on the other hand, was the culmination of years of research in genetic engineering, a being designed to surpass the Sea Fighters by combining their very DNA. Ever since Dabura's debut, fans have speculated how he would fare against the monster as Perfect Cell, especially given the comparisons drawn between him and the Cell games era fighter characters like Goku and Supreme Kai. But while both characters left a lasting impact on the series, they come from vastly different points in Dragon Ball's power scale. In this video, we'll break down their abilities, feats, and implications from the story itself to determine who truly comes out on top in a head-to-head matchup. Dabura, the Demon King of the Demon Realm, or Cell, the ultimate artificial life form. If you enjoy conversations like this and want to take part in deeper Dragon Ball discussions, I highly recommend you to join the Dragon Ball HQ Discord server, link below in the description. We'll be diving into this topic and more over there. Now, without further delay, let's begin. The first thing that needs to be firmly established in the matchup between Dabura and Cell is just how powerful Gohan was during the Majin Buu saga, a topic that's often debated and in many cases misunderstood due to translation inconsistencies and shifting context. After the Cell games, Gohan enjoys a long era of peace, which naturally leads him to becoming more relaxed and less battle-hardened. By the time the threat of Majin Buu begins to surface, Gohan's fighting spirit has noticeably dulled. Still, when danger arises, he quickly taps back into his Super Saiyan 2 form, the same transformation he used to defeat Cell 7 years prior. When Goku first senses Dabura's energy, he remarks that Dabura, even while suppressing his power, is on the same level as Cell from a few years ago. Importantly, the version of Cell being referenced here is Super Perfect Cell, the form that he achieved after regenerating from near death and received a significant Zenkai boost. This transformation was likened to a Super Saiyan 2 level increase, putting Super Perfect Cell above what Goku or Vegeta could handle at the time. However, the narrative doesn't stop there. As the events unfold, it's revealed that Goku underestimated Dabura's power. He later admits that Dabura is actually much stronger than he initially believed, which would place the Demon King above that of the level of Super Perfect Cell. Since there's nothing in the story that contradicts this revised assessment, Goku's later statement stands as the more accurate evaluation. So, when examining Dabura's strength, it's fair to say that he firmly exceeds Super Perfect Cell in raw power based on Goku's own evolving analysis. This is a crucial point to understand when comparing these two, as it shifts the dynamic of the matchup significantly. Now, the reason Gohan was mentioned earlier is because he plays a key role in why many fans believe that Dabura is actually weaker than Cell. During the Buu saga, both Vegeta and Goku comment that Gohan isn't as strong as he was during the Cell games, leading to what seems like a contradiction. After all, how can Gohan be weaker than he was against Cell, yet still be fighting on equal footing with someone like Dabura, who Goku himself later says is stronger than Cell? Well, the answer lies in the deeper understanding of Gohan's power, and it actually resolves the confusion without contradicting anything in the story. First, it's important to clarify that Gohan was indeed using Super Saiyan 2 in his fight with Dabura. This is confirmed in official sources like Daizenshu, which states that Gohan not only accessed Super Saiyan 2, but had also trained after the Cell games to properly maintain and control the form. So the issue isn't that he wasn't using Super Saiyan 2, it's that he wasn't drawing from the same emotional power-up he had during the Cell games. What many fans overlook is that Gohan had a unique rage boost on top of his Super Saiyan 2 transformation during the battle with Cell. It was this surge of uncontrollable emotion sparked by witnessing Android 16's death and the suffering of his friends that elevated his power to overwhelming levels, making him far stronger than Cell at the time. We actually get further support for this idea later in the Buu saga during his confrontation with Dabura and Babidi. And so, Gohan admits that "I'm angry, but not like last time." This subtle line reinforces the idea that while Gohan can still assess Super Saiyan 2, the sheer emotional fury that once boosted him beyond his limits simply isn't there anymore. This also aligns with another Daizenshu statement that notes Gohan hasn't lost any power since he was a child, implying that his base strength and potential are still intact, despite the 7 years of peace. The only difference is that he can no longer assess the same rage-induced version of Super Saiyan 2 he once used to dominate Cell. So when Vegeta and Goku say Gohan is weaker than before, they're referring specifically to what emotionally charged rage boost state Gohan looked like. Without that additional power, Gohan's standard Super Saiyan 2 form would naturally be on par with someone like Dabura, making the fight between them make far more sense in context. For some reason, there's still a persistent misconception in the Dragon Ball community that the idea of Gohan receiving a rage-induced power boost is just headcanon or speculation by fans. However, this belief doesn't hold up when you take a closer look at the series and its accompanying official materials. The reality is that Gohan's emotional outbursts are canonically recognized as a major component of his unique power progression. In fact, there's a substantial amount of dialogue and documentation that confirms this trait is a core aspect of his character. Let's start with the most direct and telling piece of evidence, Gohan's own words. During the Buu saga, Gohan candidly admitted that he no longer is able to get as angry as he did during his fight with Cell. This confession isn't a reflection of his physical capabilities or his transformation level, rather it's a statement about his emotional state and the challenge of replicating the moment of sheer fury. He doesn't say he's gotten weaker overall, what he emphasizes is the absence of that same intense rage that once allowed him to push beyond his limits. That distinction is crucial. It illustrates that his full strength isn't consistently accessible through training alone. It's heavily dependent on emotional triggers. This notion is backed up again by Goku, who reinforces the point that during the Buu saga, when he encourages Gohan to get angry like before and bring out the strength he displayed against Cell. Goku, who knows Gohan better than most people, clearly understands that what made Gohan so formidable wasn't just his transformation into Super Saiyan 2. It was the explosive emotional charge that powered it. This plea from Goku isn't just nostalgia, it's recognition of a recurring pattern in Gohan's power spikes. Further strengthening this interpretation is commentary from the Daizenshuu, one of the franchise's official encyclopedias. When discussing Gohan's Super Saiyan 2 form, it mentions explicitly that because Gohan could no longer draw upon his anger, he hadn't kept up with his training. When discussing Gohan's Super Saiyan 2 form, it explicitly mentions that because Gohan could no longer draw upon his anger and hadn't kept up with his training, he didn't possess the same level of power as he did during the Cell game. The guide doesn't cite his physical decline from inactivity, it ties his diminished battle power directly to his inability to summon that same emotional intensity. This is a significant statement as it shows how Gohan's emotional state is not only a thematic element of his character, but a mechanical part of his power scaling. And it doesn't end there. Multiple official guidebooks and source materials repeatedly refer to Gohan's tendency to grow significantly stronger when emotionally triggered. From his iconic transformation during the battle with Cell to earlier moments in Dragon Ball Z, like when he exploded in power to protect his friends or family, this narrative thread is consistent. His surges in power almost always happen under the weight of emotional strain. It's not just a coincidence, it's a defining trait. Anger isn't just something that helps him, it's the catalyst for most of his powerful breakthroughs. This understanding of Gohan's power dynamic also brings clarity to the topic that has often confused the fans. Many people wonder how Dabura could be considered stronger than Cell and still be evenly matched by Gohan 7 years after the Cell games, but when you realize that Gohan's standard Super Saiyan 2 form without the added boost of anger is vastly inferior to his rage-fueled Super Saiyan 2, it makes complete sense. This disparity is even subtly acknowledged in the series. When Piccolo observes Majin Vegeta fighting against Fat Buu, he compares the energy he's sensing to the same level Gohan had during his Cell games performance. That speaks volumes. It tells us that Gohan's base Super Saiyan 2 form in the Buu saga wasn't quite living up to that level, but at his peak, when emotionally pushed, he was capable of reaching that power once again. It's also important to note that Gohan first senses Fat Buu before Buu fully reveals his strength. Gohan expresses confidence as if he were able to access his full power, he might be able to defeat him. While this confidence might have been misplaced, it does reveal something key. Gohan still believed in his rage boost potential. That belief highlights just how enormous the gap is between his passive state and what he's capable of truly doing when provoked. Now, when it comes to Cell versus Dabura debate, some fans like to argue that Cell would still have the upper hand due to his ability to regenerate, his immense moveset, and the sheer number of techniques he's absorbed. It's a fair point, and one I considered valid myself at one point. Cell's adaptability and survival instincts give him a wide range of strategic options. He could, in theory, fight smarter, catch his opponent off guard with a well-placed technique, or even recover from near-fatal damage thanks to his regenerative abilities. Especially since, in canon, Cell only needs a single surviving Cell to make a comeback. If we assume that Cell is somewhere below the rage-fueled version of Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and Gohan without his rage is equal to Dabura, then it's entirely plausible that Dabura would have the upper hand in a straightforward clash. Especially if Dabura starts at full power. He could deal with Cell swiftly and decisively, just as he did with Kibito, whom he defeated instantly and effortlessly. In short, while Cell's regeneration and wide array of powers make him dangerous, they may not be enough to compensate for a raw power deficit. Dabura, being described as on par with the weakened Gohan, is still placed higher than a Cell who peaked 7 years earlier. And given that Gohan's defining feature is his rage-based amplification, it stands to reason that this version of Gohan Dabura fought was still stronger than Cell's base level. Ultimately, the narrative and official material alike consistently support the idea that Gohan's anger is more than just a personality quirk, it's a transformative force, making the fight between Dabura and Cell not even close.